Ake Paul. What a performance from Ake Paul. Guys, welcome back. And today I am talking about Ake Paul versus Ben Askren. They had a press conference the other day, or not the other day, but on Friday. And if you want to check out my initial reaction to it along with Angel, the link will be in the description. Now, people are like, oh, he's scared. Oh, Ben's gonna win. He's in his head. And this was a very cringy performance, and Ben won the press conference. Our friend from across the pond, the realist, even said that. And I'm here thinking I'm the only one that disagrees. I'm going against the grain. I'm going against the solitudes of people's minds. I don't even know if that makes sense. I believe that Jake is not scared. I feel like Ben did not get into his head, but this is how Jake always acts. I remember getting up the hope when he went against Gib, and everyone's like, ooh, Jake's scared, and Gib's in his head, and all this and that, and ooh, Nate's looking pretty sincere, and he's looking all that. I will not be given into hope again, guys. I will not get on to he's gonna lose this time, because I still believe that Ben Askren is going to get one of the beatings of his life when they fight in April. Personally, Jake just likes to be very aggressive and crude and say a lot of swear words and be childish. That's the Paul brand. That's literally what he did to Deadly, what Logan did to KSI. This is just a part of their playbook. And Jake was trying to get under Ben's skin, and it wasn't working. And I think that frustrated him. We were seeing an aggravated Ake Paul. That's what we were seeing in the press conference. We weren't seeing him scared or him get intimidated. It was Jake purely getting aggravated, that the things that normally work, that get people angry or that get any sort of emotions, were not working with Ben. Ben was composed, he was relaxed, and he didn't care. He even pushed Jake's face, and then Jake pushed him. And that became an amazing meme. I'm surprised the meme of him gagging on the mic didn't become one. I'm hoping someone makes that into one. Maybe I will. So Ben has been in this fight game for a long time. He knows how to deal with press conferences with fighters, and a YouTuber is not going to scare him. But however, I am seeing a lot of people saying Ben's going to win this. And the public's response has been, after this press conference, that Ben is going to win, and that Ben is in Jake's head, and that Jake is nervous. And that's far from the truth. Let me be frank. Jake is motivated, and he's very expressive with his emotions, mainly anger, and this is him just trying to intimidate Ben. And again, there's an interview that Lou Jordy did with Vidal, where they were talking about the fighters, and what Jordy said was so much facts. Ben Askren has a chin of steel. He's gone up against Robbie Lawler, pun, and he's gone up against killers, and he's taken huge punches. And he's been in fights, in wars, guys. He's been in wars. Have you been in a war? I'm not. I mean, he's technically not been in a war, but you get what I'm saying. Ben Askren can take a punch. But what True Jordy said was, it's easier to take hits in MMA because Ben Askren is known for his wrestling and his takedowns. Ben Askren is an amazing wrestler, and he's great at takedowns. And that's how he's able to recover from those big punches. It's because True Jordy said this, and I noticed this when I watched Ben's fights, is whenever he gets hits with big shots, boom, he goes in for the takedown. Boom, he's going in for the wrestling. He's giving himself time to recover, and he's doing what he's best at, which is wrestling, putting a guy down, and winning there. But in boxing, you can't do that. In boxing, if you get hit, you have to take punishment. In MMA, you can be very swift, you can be dirty, you're unorthodox. MMA is a lot more unorthodox and dirty and wild, whereas boxing is a more pure form, technique style based fighting range, I guess. And Ben Askren is going to come out, going for the clinch, going to come in going for the shots that Jake expects. And I'm going to tell you this. What True Jordy said was absolutely true. About Ben Askren, that's how he's able to recover. And when you're constantly taking hits and they're coming from different angles, and with Jake's power and speed, it's gonna be far more effective. And I bet you so much that if Ben Askren in his fights was not able to do takedowns and wrestling, he would have way more losses and he would not be as refined and people seeing him as being able to take punches. Because he can, but there's caveats because it's MMA and not boxing. And people were like, oh, well, Ben's gonna, is an elite fighter and everything. And I'm like, that doesn't matter. Listen, at the end of the day, Jake Paul is going to beat Ben Askren. I see so many people saying, from Dana White to professional MMA fighters to YouTubers, saying that Ben is going to beat him because he's an elite athlete. But look at Jake's sparring and look at Ben's sparring. The difference is night and day. KSI looks better than Ben Askren. So many YouTubers look better than Ben Askren. Ben Askren is someone that has the status of a real elite fighter, but boxes like a YouTuber. And like a low-level undercard of a KSI versus Logan Paul type fighting technique. I understand he's beaten legends, he's gone into wars, but this is boxing. Ben is a terrible boxer. Boxing is a different game than MMA. And as I just explained to you, why Ben is so successful in his career is because of his takedowns and of his wrestling. And those two things are taken away. And I mean, he literally went like this. He literally showed the guy his face. And I'm telling you, if Ben does that to Jake, don't be surprised when Ben Askren is on the ground and half unconscious. Because Jake could go boom, and it'd just be a powerful shot to the head. I don't think Ben Askren's going to get Nate Robinson. I don't think he's going to get knocked out cold. But I think it's going to be a TKO or a KO, or the ref's going to step in either the second or third round. I think it will go kind of like the Joe Weller fight, where maybe Ben won't be as choky as Joe, but Jake's going to dominate the whole time. You're going to see a violent beatdown of a man. But people were like, wow, Jake just knocked out Ben Askren. And Ben Askren, has been hit by killers. Jake's got the most power in the YouTube scene. Jake has more power than KSI. And I have to fundamentally disagree. Because it all depends on how Ben fights. But I expect Ben to fight a combo of Gib and Nate. And if the way Ben gets KO'd, I don't think he's going to, but if he gets KO'd, and if he goes like this, and he shows Jake his head, or if he's like Nate, where he's just going like this, then what else did you expect was going to happen? He gives Jake all the advantages he needs. So, Ben Askren, yes, he's an elite fighter, he's got all these accolades, but everything that Jake mentions about him being an NCAA champion, less losses than McGregor, yeah, okay, KSI doesn't. KSI has less losses than McGregor. It's all of these things, but they are wrestling-based. Olympic athlete. In what? In wrestling! What is he not an Olympic athlete in? Boxing! Boxing! And what are we doing? We're boxing. And, listen, it's a great strategy for Jake. That's the genius of him. He takes these people that he knows he can beat, that have the status, so he can get the validity, the verification, and the confidence boosting of the mainstream media, the boxing world, and the casuals. So that way he doesn't have to do the hard work and the challenging fights before getting to the big game fights. Because he wants McGregor like this. He wants to get to McGregor as fast as possible. Why didn't he fight Dylan Moran? Dylan Moran was complimented by Conor McGregor as being this up-and-coming boxer who gave McGregor a hard time in the ring. Dylan asked him to go doghouse style in the Mayweather gym. Jake ignored him. Jake's excuses, oh, he's not well-known, and he's fought people that have terrible records and that lose all the time. But Jake, you are fought people that don't know how to box, so it seems pretty even, don't you think? And if you beat Dylan, you beat a pro boxer. You beat somebody that McGregor said was really good. So wouldn't that make more sense business-wise, storyline-wise? It would get people more invested because everyone is not looking forward to this fight. You go into the comment section, everyone's like, if you pay money for this fight, you're stupid. This fight's going to be a flop and nobody cares about it. If it was Dylan Moran, whoa, okay, Jake, you took a challenge. I would pay money for it. And if you beat Dylan, people would be like, whoa, he beat a pro boxer. He beat someone that gave McGregor a hard time. Like, he would blow people away. But no, he's going to fight Ben Askren because he's weaker, he knows he can beat him, and he knows that he's basically doing the hard work without actually doing the work. He's building a career without taking any challenges. And people would be like, oh, well, he's beefing up his record, and why wouldn't he fight someone that he knows he can beat? Because then his career would be over. But it's because Jake says, I have the abilities. He compared himself to Muhammad Ali. He said, there's a reason we have the same birthday. He compared his skill level to that of Mayweather, of Ali, saying, I'm knocking out pros in sparring. I have the skill to beat Conor McGregor now, like in 2021. And I'm like, if you're that confident and you're that good, then why are you fighting Ben Askren? Why? Because, and the thing is when he beats these people, he hypes them up. Like with Nate Robinson, he knows that wasn't much of an accomplishment, but he takes the accomplishment and makes it bigger than it is so that people are more impressed by his abilities. Because in reality, I think he's not as confident in his skills as he says he is, and he wants constant validity and confidence from other people so that he feels good about himself. And again, Jake's a good boxer, but I think he just craves too much validity from people, and he's trying to convince himself that he's a real pro boxer without actually taking a challenge. And people aren't going to respect you. People aren't going to believe you, when you say you're that good, and then you fight Ben Askren, who's like someone that you can easily beat, because he wants that credibility so he can move up the ranks without actually taking a challenging fight. He's a boxing's biggest fraud. He's giving you guys an illusion, and he's making these people that he's fighting seem way better than they are, so you think that he's much better than he is. And he's averagely good, but he's not as good as he says he is, or as his fights would make you think. I hope this made sense. I'm kind of going on a ramble. It's 13 minutes long. Went on way longer than I thought it would. But at the end of the day, Jake's strategy, it's genius, because he basically manipulates people into thinking that he's had challenging fights, that he's a real fighter. But to me, it's like, you don't strike me as someone that wants to take on a challenge. And the fact that you wouldn't fight Dylan Moran just shows that you're not as good as you say you are. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, where's the logic between Dylan Moran and Ben Askren? It's high reward, low risk. He gets all the rewards, but he doesn't take any risks. And I'm telling you, his downfall will be him thinking he's ready and going up against McGregor and getting KO'd and embarrassed, and his career will be over. And that's how Jake Paul's career is not going to end, with him being undefeated. And he's really only doing it to himself. But anyways, that's the video. Like, subscribe, and comment. Or do the opposite. I don't really care. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Jake Paul. I don't know, something new. Bye.